What's poppin', Panther Nation and all my Pantherologists? Welcome to yet another edition of Pantherology. Class is now in session, so you know what that means. It is the Carolina Panthers Week 17 report card. Guys, I've got the creative juices flowing, so I've got some really good raw content coming out this week. So click that post notifications bell so you don't miss out on that raw content. Basically, since we're basically in the off season now for us, so I got a lot of stuff that I want to talk about this off season and some mock drafts. Talk about being excited under the Matt Rule era. So just some stuff like that. Pound that like button, pound the subscribe button, comment down below. Let me know what you think at the end of the video. All right, so let's get into this report card. All right, so the Panthers offense struggled in the season finale. Now, it was not a pretty way to put an end to the 2020 season, as the Carolina Panthers got steamrolled by the New Orleans Saints 33-7. So, turning the ball over 5 times and going 1 of 9 on third downs and 1 of 4 in the red zone is not a formula for success. But that's exactly what the Panthers did this past Sunday. So let's take a look at how each phase of the offense graded out. Let's start with the passing game. I gave it an F. Now, this was by far the worst performance of the season by the Carolina quarterbacks, and it's not even close. Now, Teddy Bridgewater completed 13 of his 23 pass attempts for 76 yards and 2 interceptions. Now, the stat line is very good, but it doesn't show is that both of those interceptions were thrown in the end zone. Now, that's a possible 14 points that were taken away from the Carolina on passes that were severely underthrown, to be honest. And, I mean, Bridgewater had a banged-up knee toward the end of the first half, and he would eventually be replaced by backup P.J. Walker. The Panthers were hoping, I think, for a little bit of a spark offensively, but that never happened. So, Walker did not see the field well, and he finished the night for 5 of 14 for 95 yards and 3 interceptions. So, this is going to be an area, like I said in my last video, that Carolina has to look to get better at this offseason and address the issues this offseason. Next, let's talk about the run game. I gave it a C. With Christian McCaffrey and Mike Davis both absent from this game due to injuries, it doesn't surprise me that the Panthers only rushed for 74 yards on the day. Now, however, it's not because they struggled. It's because they were forced to keep the ball in the air after falling way behind in the second half. Now, Rodney Smith had a solid day. I mean, he rushed for 40 yards and I think a touchdown on 10 carries. And then quarterback Tommy Stevens totaled 24 yards on 4 carries. So, if the turnovers in the pass game never happened, I think it allows Carolina to run the ball more than they did. All right, next category, let's talk about the blocking. I gave it a C-. Yes, the Panthers' offensive line gave up 3 sacks, 6 quarterback hits, but that was against one of the best defenses in the league. And not to mention, Carolina was down to essentially their 4th and 5th starting left tackle due to several injuries. And that typically doesn't bode well. So, it was not the greatest performances by any means, but due to the circumstances, I can't be too critical. Now, let's talk about the defense. This was not how the Panthers defense envisioned the end of their season either. So, let's take a look at how each phase of the Panthers defense graded out. All right, let's start with the pass defense. I gave it a C+. This grade may seem a bit high, but it's not like Drew Brees was carving the secondary up as he did in the previous meeting. He only threw for 201 yards, and the longest play of the day went for like 27 yards. A far cry from his feast of the Panthers defense in October. Trey Boston, Jeremy Chin, Rasul Douglas, and Dante Jackson all played well at times and never really let New Orleans hit for big plays on a consistent basis. Next, let's talk about the run defense. I give it an F. Just as soon as I thought the Panthers were getting a good grasp of stopping the run Sunday, the entire Saints running back room was ruled out for the game after being deemed of high risk of COVID-19 when Alvin Kamara tested positive. Yet, they still had a 100-yard rusher and ran for 156 yards. Ty Montgomery rushed for 105 yards on 18 carries. He averaged 5.8 yards per pop. And Tyson Hill tackled on another 41 yards and a touchdown on 7 carries. Next, let's talk about pressure. I gave it a D. Even without Brian Burns in the lineup, I expected the Panthers to still manage to get to the quarterback, more often than they did. I mean, the Panthers applied just 4 quarterback hits and only sacked Brees twice. So, one of the sacks came from a safety blitz off the edge from Trey Boston. So really, the pressure up front was non-existent. So guys, that is my Week 17 report card for the Carolina Panthers. Pound that like button, pound the subscribe button, comment down below, let me know what you think. Click that post notification bell so you don't miss out on any of the new raw content that I put out there. Panther Nation, Pantherologists, keep pounding.